I never thought my life would spiral into a nightmare like this. If someone had told me a year ago that I would be sitting here trying to piece together the wreckage of my own family, I would have laughed in their face. But life doesn't warn you before it rips everything away. It just happens. It all started with my mother's death. It hit our family like a freight train. One day she was laughing, cooking, calling me just to remind me about a stupid sale at the grocery store. Next she was gone. Cancer. Aggressive, merciless, and sudden. We barely had time to say goodbye. She was young, too young to go. 50-something, full of life. And then, nothing. My father was devastated. I'd never seen him so broken. The man who had raised 4 kids with firm hands and sharp discipline now sat in a house that smelled like my mother's perfume, unable to function. My siblings and I tried our best to support him, but we had our own families, our own lives. And then, there was my wife, Emily. Emily had always been close to my mother. She cried almost as much as I did at the funeral. She hugged my father, told him she'd take care of him. She was kind, thoughtful, selfless. She told me, "Your dad shouldn't be alone. He needs someone to help him through this." And I agreed. She started visiting him every day. At first, I was grateful. My wife didn't work, and my siblings all lived far away, except for my younger brother, Mark, who was still in town. It made sense for Emily to be there for my dad. She cooked for him, cleaned up, made sure he ate. She even started doing little things, like fixing his shirts when they lost a button or buying him vitamins. Weeks turned into months. She was always at my father's house. I barely saw her in the evenings anymore. When I asked, she'd say, "Your dad needed help with something," or, "I didn't want him to eat alone." I wasn't suspicious. Not at all. If anything, I was relieved someone was looking out for my father when I couldn't. But then Mark showed up at my office one afternoon. His face was pale, his hands clenched into fists. "Hey, we need to talk," he said. I frowned. "What's wrong?" He hesitated before finally spitting it out. "I have security cameras at Dad's house, you remember? We installed them when Mom got sick." Of course, I remembered. They were meant to monitor her in case she needed help. "So?" I asked. Mark swallowed hard. I saw something weird. My stomach clenched. "What?" He exhaled sharply. "Emily. She was with Dad in his bedroom." I blinked. The words didn't make sense. "What do you mean? She was probably just—" "No," he interrupted. "She went inside and closed the door twice. There are no cameras in there, but it just didn't sit right with me." I felt a weird sensation in my chest, but I brushed it off. She probably helped him with something, maybe his closet or the bathroom. "Yeah, maybe," Mark muttered. But I could tell he didn't believe it. Neither did I, but I wanted to. A few days passed, and I tried to ignore the nagging thought. In my head, Emily was a good woman. My wife. She was doing something kind, helping a grieving man. How could I let Mark's paranoia plant doubt in my mind? Then, one evening, Mark called me again. His voice was shaking. "Dude, they're in there again. The bedroom." I froze. "I'm going over there," he said. Mark, but he had already hung up. I sat in my office, heart pounding, staring at the phone like it was a ticking bomb. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. Then my phone rang again. I picked up, and all I heard was chaos. My brother was screaming. My wife's voice in the background shrieking, and then Mark's words hit me like a bullet to the skull. "Bro, she's in bed with Dad." Silence. The world around me blurred. I couldn't breathe. Then, through the phone, I heard Emily's voice. "Don't tell him, Mark. Please." Click. The call ended. I sat there, staring at the black screen. My wife was sleeping with my father, and my world just ended. I don't remember driving home that night. I don't remember parking the car, walking up the steps, or unlocking the front door. My body moved on autopilot while my mind replayed Mark's words over and over like a sick mantra. "She's in bed with Dad." I felt like I had stepped into some twisted alternate reality. A universe where my wife, the woman I loved, the mother of my children, was screwing my own father. And the worst part? She begged Mark not to tell me. She wanted to keep it a secret. That thought alone made my hands clench into fists as I stepped inside our house. It was dark, quiet. Emily wasn't home yet. I didn't know whether to be relieved or furious. I sat on the couch, my mind racing, my heartbeat pounding in my ears. How long had this been going on? Since my mother's funeral? Since the first time she went to help my dad? The front door creaked open. I didn't move. Emily walked in, tossing her purse on the table like it was just another normal night. Like she hadn't just come from my father's bed. I stared at her in the dim light, searching for any sign of guilt, of hesitation, of anything that would give her away. But she was cool. Too cool. "Hey, babe," she said, kicking off her shoes. "Why are you sitting in the dark?" Her voice was light, casual. It made my stomach twist. "Where were you?" I asked, my voice eerily calm. She didn't even blink. "You know where. I was helping your dad. Helping. I wanted to laugh or scream. I leaned forward, resting my elbows on my knees. "Did you enjoy it?" She froze, just for a fraction of a second. But I saw it. "Enjoy what?" she asked, her voice suddenly cautious. "Sleeping with my father." The silence that followed was suffocating. The air between us turned to ice. I watched as her face twitched, as her mind raced for an escape, for a lie, for anything. What are you talking about?" she stammered. I smiled. "Mark saw you?" Boom. She paled. "Saw me what?" "He has cameras at Dad's house, the ones we installed for Mom." Her breath hitched. "That's not... He's lying." I stood up slowly, towering, over her. "So you weren't in the bedroom with my father?" She swallowed hard. "I was just helping him, I swear. He's lonely. He needed comfort." "Comfort?" My voice dropped, laced with venom. "So you decided to comfort him in his bed?" Tears welled in her eyes. "Fake. So fake." "It's not what you think," she whispered. I snapped. "Then tell me what." "It is, Emily!" She jumped at my tone, her lower lip trembling. It just happened. I didn't mean for it to happen." "How the hell do you accidentally sleep with your dead mother-in-law's husband?" She gasped. "Don't say it like that." "How should I say it then?" I hissed. "How long, Emily? How long have you been screwing my father?" She covered her face with her hands. "It wasn't planned. We were both grieving. We were both lost, and one night we just..." Her voice broke. "It was a mistake." I laughed bitterly. "A mistake? Right. And then what? You kept making that same mistake over and over again? You went back every day to help him?" She sobbed. "I love you. I love our family. I swear I never wanted to hurt you." "But you did." I stepped closer, lowering my voice. "And you didn't. Just hurt me, Emily. You destroyed me." She shook her head violently. "Please, don't do this. We can work through it. I'll stop seeing him." I snapped again. "Stop? You think this is something you can just stop?" Her face crumpled. "I don't know what else to do." I exhaled sharply, my fists shaking. I needed to leave before I did something I'd regret. "You're disgusting," I muttered, grabbing my keys. "Where are you going?" She whimpered. I didn't answer. I just walked out the door, slamming it behind me. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. I spent the entire night driving around, my mind spinning with anger, betrayal, and something even darker, a need for revenge. By the time the sun rose, I knew exactly what I was going to do. Emily had begged Mark not to tell me. She wanted to keep it a secret. She thought she could bury it. Not a chance. I drove to my in-laws' house first. Emily's parents were early risers. When her mother opened the door and saw me standing there, pale and sleepless, she frowned. "Oh my God, are you okay?" she asked. I smiled. "You should sit down." And then I told her everything, every single detail. She gasped. That can't be true." "Ask your daughter," I said coldly. Or better yet, ask my father. Tears streamed down her face. Oh my God! I wasn't done yet. I left her house and drove straight to my father's. He was outside, watering the plants, acting like he hadn't just wrecked my life. He smiled when he saw me. Son, I punched him, right in the face. He stumbled back, clutching, his jaw. What the hell? Don't. Speak. My voice was deadly calm. You're dead to me. His face twisted in anger. It wasn't just me. I punched him again. Blood dripped from his lip. You don't get to talk about her. I turned on my heel and walked away. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. Emily wanted to keep this quiet. Was going to make sure the whole world knew, and she was going to pay. I didn't stop after telling Emily's mother. I wasn't even close to done. Emily thought she could betray me and walk away without consequences. She thought she could sleep with my father, beg my brother not to tell me, and then just cry her way out of it. No. She was about to learn what it felt like to have her world burned to the ground. I drove back to our house, my hands gripping the wheel so tight my knuckles turned white. When I walked in, she was sitting on the couch, red-eyed, probably from crying all night. The second she saw me, she jumped up, like she expected me to hold her, to comfort her, like I was still that stupid, trusting husband. I just stood there, staring at her. Where did you go? She whispered. I tilted my head, letting the silence stretch between us. I had some things to take care of. She swallowed hard. I know you hate me, but please, I told your parents. Her breath hitched. She staggered back like I had slapped her. You what? I smiled. Your mother was in tears, couldn't believe her little girl turned into... I let the sentence hang. She shook her head, covering her mouth with both hands. No, you didn't. I did. A choked sob escaped her lips. Oh my God, why would you do that? I let out a bitter laugh. Why? Why? I stepped closer, lowering my voice to something sharp and cutting. You think you can sleep with my father and just cry your way out of this? You think you can stand there and pretend you're the victim? Tears streamed down her face. I made a mistake. No, Emily, a mistake is forgetting our anniversary. A mistake is burning dinner. I pointed at her, my hand trembling with rage. You made a choice. Over and over again. She sank onto the couch, sobbing into her hands. I didn't want to lose you. I scoffed. Then maybe you shouldn't have been screwing my father. She flinched at the words. Good. Let them hurt. I took out my phone. She saw it, and her face drained of color. What are you doing? Posting the truth. Her eyes widened in horror. No, please, you can't. Watch me. I opened Facebook and started typing. To everyone who knows me and my wife, Emily, I want to share something important. The woman I loved, the mother of my children, has been having an affair. But not just any affair. She's been sleeping with my father. Yes, you read that right. My wife and my own father betrayed me in the worst possible way. I want everyone to know exactly who they are. To my family, to our friends, this is the truth. She lunged at me, trying to grab my phone. I stepped back. Don't you dare, she shrieked. I hit post. Her scream was primal, raw. She collapsed onto the floor, clutching her head. Oh my God, you just ruined my life. I crouched down beside her, staring into her tear-streaked face. Good. My phone started vibrating almost immediately. Messages, comments, calls. People were seeing it. Mark called first. Jesus Christ, dude, you really did it. Damn right I did. Your dad's calling me right now, he said. He's losing his mind. Tell him to go to hell. Mark chuckled darkly. Gladly. I hung up and turned to Emily. She was shaking, staring at her own phone in horror. You don't understand, she whispered. My parents, my friends, everyone's gonna see this. That's the point. She grabbed my arm. Please delete it. I'll do anything. I'll leave. I'll give you space, but don't do this. I yanked my arm free. You already did this. I walked to our bedroom, grabbed a suitcase, and started throwing her clothes into it. "What? What are you doing?" she stammered. "You're leaving," I said simply. She crawled to the bedroom doorway, her face twisted in agony. "Please don't kick me out. I have nowhere to go." I zipped up the suitcase and tossed it near her. "Go to my father's. You seem comfortable there." She let out a strangled sob. "You can't mean that." I stared at her, my chest heaving. "Get out." She didn't move. I grabbed her phone off the nightstand and dangled it in front of her. "If you don't leave right now, I'll go through this. Let's see how many messages you and my father exchanged. Let's see how long this has really been going on." Her whole body tensed. "Don't," I smirked. "Then go." She hesitated for just a second before snatching the suitcase and running out of the house. I watched from the window as she drove off, probably straight to my father's house. It didn't matter. I wasn't done yet. Not even close. I thought kicking Emily out would be the final step, the moment I could finally breathe again. But it wasn't enough, not even close. She had shattered my life, burned my trust to the ground, and humiliated me in a way I never imagined possible. And I wasn't going to let her walk away with just a suitcase and some tears. I wanted her to feel the weight of every lie, every betrayal, every disgusting moment she spent in my father's bed. The first explosion came fast. My Facebook post had gone viral, not just among friends and family, but beyond. People I hadn't spoken to in years were messaging me, some offering support, some just hungry for drama. Mutual friends were turning against Emily. People she had known her whole life were unfriending her. Even her own parents stopped answering her calls. She tried to fight back, sent me texts, long-winded messages about how I was cruel, about how I was destroying her, about how I needed to take the post down. I ignored every single one. Then the calls started. From my father, the man who raised me, the man who betrayed me. I let the first few ring out, but when he called a fourth time, I picked up. "You need to stop this." His voice was tense, low, like he was holding back anger. "Stop what?" I asked, my voice calm, cold. "This public humiliation. You're acting like a child," I laughed. Laughed so hard I nearly dropped the phone. "I'm acting like a child? You screwed my wife, and I'm the problem?" A long pause, then a sigh. "It wasn't supposed to happen this way." "So what way was it supposed to happen, huh? Were you just waiting for the right moment to tell me you were leaving me for my wife? Or were you hoping to keep it a dirty little secret forever?" He didn't answer. I clenched my jaw. "You're a coward." "Son, don't call me that." Silence. "You lost your wife, Dad. And instead of grieving, instead of holding on to what was left of your family, you destroyed it." I hung up before he could say another word. That should have been it. That should have been the end. But Emily? She didn't know how to let things go. She showed up at my job, right there in the parking lot, blocking my car, her face pale and frantic. I nearly turned around and walked the other way, but I knew she wouldn't leave until I talked to her. She grabbed my arm the second I got close. "Please, I need to explain." "Explain what?" I yanked my arm free. "Explain how you ended up in bed with my father. Explain how you snuck around behind my back for months." Tears streamed down her face. "I swear it wasn't like that." I scoffed. "Then tell me how it was." She opened her mouth, then shut it again, because she had nothing. No excuse, no explanation, just more tears. "You did this to yourself," I said. She wiped at her face with shaking hands. "I lost everything, do you understand? My parents won't speak to me, my friends hate me, I have nowhere to go." "You had a home," I said. "You had a husband who loved you. You threw that away." "I didn't mean to." I laughed bitterly. "No? You didn't mean to climb into bed with my father? You didn't mean to betray me?" She sobbed. "I would do anything to take it back." I stepped closer, lowering my voice. "You can't. And now, you get to live with it, just like I do." She crumbled right there in the parking lot, I walked away. I didn't look back.